3, 2, 1, and we're live. It's Atlantic Scrum. It's Sam and Sabrina and Marion and Yarrow are in the house. Let's go to screen share, find that button, and maybe we'll do. I don't know. Let's do people focus. Well, no, or let's do project focus because we did just have a local support meeting, to which maybe I will just start by reviewing that. Yeah, so we had local support meeting with the client, and basically we haven't really done any new things to push out to the client, but we met a new person who's a person involved in the sort of charities in this area, who was called Bill, who's got a background in IT and wants to do some sort of customer relations management software for charities. So we had a nice chat about that. Turns out his children went to the same school that I did, but there we go. Yeah, I mean, the main news I had for Rachel was that I'd applied for the Agile Ventures bank account. It's going to be a two-week wait for that, annoyingly. But so I guess I can't do the invoice until we have a bank account. I guess I can prepare the invoice. I'll do that next week. Yeah, the invitations thing seems to be fixed. We went through a series of little issues. We sort of encountered, I think, some corner cases that I've documented in the Firefox. There is, I guess, there's a. Maybe it shouldn't occur. I mean, maybe you have a watch of the video when you can, John, just to see if you can make better head or tail of those things. I think there was like one email address that had a space in the middle of it. There was another something or other that one of the, I guess maybe again was a mismatch email thing. There was like a user that already existed, but their organization appeared in the organizations without users. I guess those two weren't connected. I showed Rachel how to connect them up. There we go. More concerning, the sort of big thing, as well, I mean, yeah, Rachel sent out more invitations, and one or two other people have signed up, which is nice. Some people are reporting getting this untrusted connection thing when they look at the harrowcn.org.uk domain, but in Firefox and in IE, and it looks like David's been looking into this, and I haven't had time to read these sort of things, but that's definitely something we need to get sorted out. Yeah, so I guess the main, now that we've got through the invitations thing, the main thing is ongoing, trying to deal with the pull requests that are outstanding for local support. I've given David and some feedback on the feature flag thing now, and David responded, and unfortunately I'm still sick and had other crazy things happening today. So, but hopefully, slowly but surely, we will move forward on that. John, I did complete a review of the nav section there.
Okay.
Yeah, I've checked, and yeah, the infinite scrolling does seem to be completely trivial, as in it will what we call it? Yeah, it just, it's clearly not doing anything at the moment. I don't know if I post it. I'll paste these notes into the GitHub for that. I guess, I mean, we've talked about it before. What I feel bad. I feel like I've held up local support development by not being able to merge these these pull requests quickly enough.
No, I mean, there's only so much involvement you can do, and we've got other projects to work on. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's lovely to see you working on the other ones. I think one thing, and as I went through and I reviewed, all of the changes for, and I did I did a Git compare with. So this is the nav one, and got all of these things. There did seem, I mean, maybe this is only obvious on reflection, that there was certain sorts of changes there was quite a lot of them, which are mainly, see if I can find an example of one. I don't know. Mainly things like this, like switching over the I am on the edit to I visit, and so on, which are, I think it's a good idea, consistent, not controversial at all. And there's lots of those. What I think in the ideal world is we would have had one pull request that was all of those, right? That was that easily agreeable, quickly pulled through. Going through, and I'll paste my notes in here. I don't necessarily talk about it right this second, but there are various, I think, more controversial changes, in different places, and so while there's various amounts of stuff I would like to put in immediately, there's other stuff that requires more discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's certainly something to keep considering in future. We don't have to get into a big discussion of it now. John, you and I maybe at some point can discuss these things. But that was my notes from yesterday. Another thing to consider is whether is it worth, in retrospect, breaking up the pull request so that the things that are easily pull it in. I mean, I could be, in principle, I could be cherry picking the commits, that I thought were the ones that could come through easily, and leaving the ones that I needed to spend more time discussing with you. But
I could probably just split those off. I know there's probably like 3 things you're talking about, which I could just yank out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, I don't know that anybody's saying. I mean, I don't know that anybody's actively working on new local support stuff. So it's the blocking thing is that just I with you guys help or ongoing discussion is just need to get the pull request stack down so that it's. I think if people come into the project and there's a big load of stuff in pull request, it's sort of off-putting. It prevents people sort of starting on new things. But yeah. Anyway, go on.
On the topic of working on local support, the main reason I'm interested in you processing the invoices is because I'm curious how much money is left, so that we can encourage people to finish out the remaining work for the volunteer epic.
Well, I think that there's going to be no more money from based on the number of hours that people have put in, then we've already exceeded the amount of money that we have for the first £2,000 or whatever. So basically, I kind of did a back of the envelope calculation, and on a piece of paper, not piece of paper, and yeah, so we've got the current hours submitted takes up just slightly more than the hours that we estimated for doing it. So yeah, there's kind of no more.
Did you, on the back of that envelope, take into the account my rate for the hours that I claimed?
I'm going to see if I can find it.
Well,
hold on. Here we go. Yeah, and I think I hadn't actually. I think I hadn't included your hours in that. As I think you'd said, use your hours and redistribute to the team, which is very, very nice of you. But yeah, I think the total amount of the hours from everybody else combined, excluding you, already comes to more than what we budgeted for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that it's like, looking at it in retrospect, I think that, for example, Marcelo put in a lot of time. Obviously, you did yourself as well. Partly there was going off in that direction of having that nested route, and then we made the decision to kind of back out of it and so on. I think in the ideal world, maybe I would have been able to be more involved in the initial thing, and we could have saved a certain amount of time. But I don't have a problem with that. I think there's a relatively small amount of clear up for the delivering the on the local support volunteers thing. Anyway, I guess we should maybe get on and check in with the other projects. The other thing that's slowing down local support and maybe other projects is the fact that I'm doing all this maker stuff, and the maker students I'm working with are at such a low level that we can't really have them. I'm hoping in 2 or 3 weeks, as they get more into Rails and things, they'll be in a position to start pairing on all this stuff. Anyway, we will see. But any other local support business before we move on? If not, other projects. I will mention Autograders. Pool, I think, is not available today. Autograders, I need to get check the Oracle of Bacon, which is the next homework that's coming out, ready and sorted. That's my job for the afternoon now, really. I don't know that we need to necessarily say anything else there, unless anybody has questions about Autograders. Website 1, any reports there?
We'll be pairing.
I guess I and John and Yaro will be pairing on that after this.
Great. The Authentications Controller.
As always.
Good show. Yes. I mean, part of me wants to hear more about it, but I know.
I'll be carrying over the Hangout stuff.
Okay, so it's then it'll be just me and John then.
I will connect and I will just do it in the background because I'm just playing around with it, trying to get it work.
Yeah. Okay. And so we've got no one from Cordelia or Osra here. Any other business at all for the group?
I mean, Cordelia is moving forward. We sort of
Right.
had blocked ourselves for a while with a change in way of doing Jasmine.
Yeah.
Now we just posted a pull request that changes that, and just want a little more feedback from the other developers before we move forward with it. But
Right. Right. Yes. One general item of business is, I mean, so actually, about yesterday, this is Agile Ventures. So yesterday, Joanne, who's the code person who, well, has been running the Code Collective, which is a Wednesday evening meetup, and sort of encouraged me to do an edX mentoring session every Wednesday. He kind of has been telling his friends about Agile Ventures and introducing people to me who are saying, oh, they're kind of looking for people to build them an MVP for their, I think it's like a flight kind of booking system or something that, you know, pulls stuff from multiple APIs and this, that, and the other. And you know, they're sort of saying what it's all about. And I said, you know, like Agile Ventures is mainly focused on non-profit, but you know, we're willing to take on, you know, for-profit things as long as there's a commitment to open source and open development and so on. And they're like, oh. So I mean, there's kind of, I don't know. We'll see. You know, I showed them all the site. We'll see if they follow up on that. I mean, this guy I met in the Volume Interaction Harrow office is a local Harrow person who, you know, I think does have funds for building a customer relations management system, CRM system for charities and so on. So, I mean, the interesting thing about going forward is you know, can we get more paying customers in the door, so to speak? I think it would be nice. I don't know, you know. I'm looking at the way that, you know, we've had two paying projects so far, which is one was the indexing thing, and now with the local support, which I think have been a great learning experience. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it moving forward?
I would want the pay to be for the result and no talk about the hours.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
still, we can keep the requirement for pairing.
I mean, like when you have a requirement for hours, like you saw what happened in the volunteer epic, there were like multiple tries for doing the same thing, like a number of like spikes or even tested spikes were thrown away. So I think that is what contributed to a large number of hours, I think.
That's interesting. I mean, that raises the possibility that one could say that one will only pay for you know, BDD hours and not pay for spiking hours.
Not exactly spiking. I mean, what I meant was like they were tested, but still they were not up to the mark. So
Oh,
they were
okay.
thrown.
It was attempting driving in one direction.
Yeah.
Then,
I mean, I think what they should be paid upon, and as John said, is like, I mean, different stages or different releases, maybe, or like different iterations. At the end of the iteration,
Sure.
we,
Yeah. No. I mean, and that's you know, say hello to Marcelo and Moises Man who've just joined us. Yes, that would be an interesting alternative way of doing it. I guess the you know, the model of paying for hours is something that sort of Pivotal uses, I guess, to try and avoid getting themselves into a bind where it turns out that what the customer has requested is actually, you know, difficult to achieve, and you end up being forced to sink many hours into something that is just not practical. I guess clearly we've got a different setup here.
How would you keep track of, you know, there's two people working separately on different parts of it? How would you, you know,
Well,
how would it work? Figuring out
it would have to be based upon you know, people would still be tracking their hours, and there would be, you know, hours contributed to a project which we would keep track of. I guess in principle you would you know, it would be based upon delivery of features, and the client would have to sign off on the feature and say, yes, this is what I wanted, and then people would get paid. then there's a question of, there's a valid question there about what proportion do people get paid in, should people get paid in proportion to the hours that they ended up being put in, or is there, if somebody worked on a lot of stuff but then that didn't actually contribute to that code was never used, should people be paid based on people's how many lines of code they contributed, or the idea it's challenging, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think that having false starts and things that don't quite work, and I think that's part of a project overhead.
Seems to me, yeah, I'd agree with that.
In my experience, anyway, it's just typical. It's not, and maybe had more people who were less experienced, and we had more like that, but we also felt that we charged less for that, because we were less experienced, so maybe it all works out.
Sure.
I don't know.
I think false starts are a natural part of, what goes on there. Yeah. Anyway, I think we should probably wrap up the Scrum. I think there's an interesting discussion to keep going on. I mean, the other thing is I forgot his name. Tony from Makers, who's one of the Makers coaches, actually did the air pair thing and got that pushed out. Although actually, it's a different air pair banner than the banners that they sent us. So I don't know. It's very challenging that I don't get to meet up with Brian and discuss these things. I should talk to Tony, but that's another thing about the ongoing, Agile Ventures, about having these supporter things, and whether there's a framework for generating revenue of Agile Ventures that supports running the organization. Anyway, let's maybe leave it there for the Scrum and stop the broadcast. Feel free to hang out and chat. I guess I'm going to grab a coffee and start on our Autograders hangout.
Yeah, I'll just start a website one hangout then.
Right.